How dare you intimidate Christians with guns? Leave my church now, pastor tells police officers. A pastor tackled police officers who allegedly tried to shut down his church in Calgary, Canada. And the video is currently going viral. It is believed that the police officers who came into the church after it was alleged that they broke COVID-19 guidelines, the pastor was very angry when he saw about 5 police officers enter his church. He ordered them to leave immediately and they shouldn't come back again unless they come with a warrant, making it clear that they can't intimidate Christians who came to worship in the church. In the viral video, the pastor recorded himself, 5 police officers in uniforms, and a lady entered his church. The lady who came with police officers tried to explain why they entered the church, but the pastor wasn't ready to hear anything. The pastor kept shouting repeatedly that they should get out of his church. It is alleged that the police officers came to lock down his church after he allegedly broke COVID-19 guidelines on the gathering of people. So in his words, he says, "Get out of my church, out, out, out. I don't want to talk to you. Get out of this property. I don't care what you have to say, out. And don't come back here without a warrant. Unbelievable people, you are intimidating Christians in the church during the Passover." The pastor shouted at the police officers who reluctantly walked out of the church. Okay, the pastor kept talking after they left. He said that these police officers came into his church to intimidate Christians with guns, tasers, and handcuffs during Passover celebration. How dare they come into the church armed with guns, tasers, and handcuffs to intimidate Christians during Passover celebration? Do you know? Do they want to be the pharaohs of today? Unbelievable. We don't want a future whereby it will be a must for us to be vaccinated before we can go to school or work. We don't want that future for our children, grandchildren, and the whole of Canada, the pastor said. I don't know. It's so random. Like, the fact is, let me even check right now, because I think that there is a lockdown in Canada. Like I don't understand. It's Canadian police. They're not necessarily known for being violent or coming to church with guns and tasers. I mean, what would they do technically? I mean, if this is like a civil situation, if they come to the church, what they probably want to do is have a conversation with one of the head pastors and be like, you know what, you're breaking guidelines. Can you stop the service? I highly doubt that in Canada the police will come in with guns and tasers. I believe that this man is absolutely overreacting, and yeah. So again, COVID is still very much in Canada, and of course they're on lockdown, as everywhere in the world. Of course, it might be easing down in some places and all that, but it's just like, what? How does this make any sense? How does this make any sense? Because again, you can't be allegedly breaking COVID-19 guidelines when the COVID is still there and the guidelines are still being upheld. Like, you have to follow that, and because you're a church or because you're Christian, it's highly unlikely. Come on now, come on. Americans reacted to this video. They hailed the pastor for standing his ground. Check the reaction below. Wow, the pastor is full of courage. People should see this as an example that he's putting his members at risk. Help me understand why police are now shutting down churches. Is this what we have come to as a society? The actions by government to shut down church should be unacceptable, always and forever. Well, you sound very illogical. I don't understand. COVID is still very much prevalent. It is, oh my days, I don't understand. What a shepherd, what a priest. God bless this courageous man. Let every priest follow his holy example. Why can't all churches be more like stand strong in their faith? If they can trust masks so much, and they can trust in the Lord and Savior, who said time and time again, don't be afraid, which it was repeated 365 times in the Bible. Don't be afraid. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I can't believe that they're justifying this man's behavior. The fact remains that there are guidelines, and except because again, if you're breaking the guidelines, and the guidelines when it comes to communal gatherings, it's probably like a limit on the number of people that should be in a space, and they probably exceeded that number. And yes, if you're exceeding the number and you're breaking guidelines, then they have a right to tell you to shut down, because you are putting members at risk. That's it. Someone here says, how many times did he have to say out? If those cops aren't deaf, they should be fined and suspended. But they reluctantly left. They left. That's the point. They didn't even like I don't know. I don't know. But the refusal to leave when asked several times is clearly misconduct. Um, I don't think so. I think that's a situation where if the government has passed, because they enforce the law at the end of the day. So if they're breaking COVID-19 guidelines, well, allegedly, I don't think the pastor has a right to, the pastor doesn't necessarily have the upper hand to tell police to walk away, because I'm so confused. Like, it's not even that complicated. Just don't open. Okay, fine. Someone says, why can't they have any gatherings? Like, are you? It literally says that they've broken COVID-19 guidelines. I don't understand. This man is a hero. Christians see the example. This is a righteous anger. Well, anger in the Bible, I don't think is described as righteous, but we move. These people are exactly like this man says, and I am one, and I, for one, am glad they were shamed this way. What? No, he shamed himself and his congregation. That's what he did. What church is this? I believe many would like to donate to this man's church. I'm so confused. I'm actually so confused. There's COVID out there and you're out here defending. And then all of a sudden, he literally just went into vaccinations. Like, how does that even relate? So it's very likely that the anger is not necessarily, his anger is so very built up, and it's towards COVID and the vaccinations. Because then he just went out. He literally went in and says, obviously, he started by saying, get out, get out, get out. And then at the end, he just starts going off about how he says, we don't want a future whereby it will be a must for us to be vaccinated. It's a different thing. If the police came with jabs and we're like, we're going to inject you right now, it's a different thing. But come on, we're growing. It seems like as if some people never pass high school age and behavior. We leave it back there, please. It's embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. Um, so again, if whether they're breaking it or not, again, the police will not just come if it's, for example, let's say it was false. I don't think the police would would reluctantly want to leave. I don't know. I don't know. It's just very strange. And how can you act so illogical? It's embarrassing or shouting. The fact is, whatever you believe or not, you in Canada, if there are guidelines and you break them, it's an offense. And whatever happens, I mean, I even think it's even nice that he's not getting fined or anything. They're just telling him to stop the service. I don't understand. It's not that deep. You can have online services as well. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.